And welcome back to Sunday Square Off. Could it happen here? A Pennsylvania Democrat's stunning victory last week in a district that President Trump won by 20 points has some Arizona Democrats dreaming of pulling off the same upset here. One congressman being targeted. Four-term Republican David Schweikert in the Northeast Valley's 6th Congressional District. Republicans hold a large registration advantage, but Trump won the district by just 10 points in 2016. 2012 Republican nominee Mitt Romney won it by 21 points. 3 Democrats are lining up to challenge Schweikert: Anita Malik, Garrick McFadden, and Heather Ross. And we're joined this morning by Heather Ross of Paradise Valley. She's an ASU professor, national security researcher, nurse practitioner, healthcare policy expert. Welcome to Square Off.
Thanks, Bram.
That's quite a resume.
We do what we can.
Okay. So, but you're brand new to politics, though.
Well, I'm new to the politics side. I've been on the policy side for the last 10 years of my career. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about politics. Give us a sense, give voters a sense. Where do you fit into the Democratic Party? Which elected officials out there do you admire?
Oh, which elected officials do I admire? I admire the elected officials who represent the people that they're elected to represent, that they're governing from where the people are, not from one fringe or the other.
So is there anybody in the Democratic Party right now elected you see doing that?
You know who I see doing that are the people who are in the Problem Solvers Caucus in Congress. And we have one of them here in the Valley, Kyrsten Sinema, who works really, really hard to listen to what the people in her district say and represent those interests.
Okay, let's talk about policy. President Trump's biggest achievement, the tax cut, the Republican tax cut. It looks like good news for many residents of CD6. It has some of the wealthiest zip codes.
It does.
In the state and even in the country. So those voters must be happy with it. Do you support it?
I don't support it. It didn't do what everybody said we wanted to see out of tax reform, which was to simplify the tax code. The other thing that it did was to add over 10 years $1.4 trillion to our national deficit. And it's interesting to me that the incumbent that I'm running against, who proclaims himself to be a fiscal hawk and a budget hawk and would never vote for anything that increased the federal deficit. Not only did he vote for this bill, he proudly claims authorship of this bill.
How big an issue will President Trump be in this race?
People don't like President Trump in the district. You mentioned that he only won this district by 10 points, and I should point out that was only 51% of people voted for Donald Trump in this district, and a lot of people are unhappy with that vote.
Big issue right now is gun violence. If you were in Congress, what would you do right now?
Right now, we have to start by enforcing the dozens of federal laws that we already have on the books related to firearms. The other things we need to do right now, we need to have universal background checks in place. And the third thing that we need to do is repeal the Dickey Amendment. So for people who aren't aware, the Dickey Amendment was passed in 1996. It prohibits the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, from investigating gun violence. We have to know what will work. We have to study it so that we can pass the policy that we need so that nobody is killed at firearms range.
So you talked about being admiring the Problem Solver Caucus, people like Congresswoman Kyrsten Sinema. Some of your agenda appears to go out to the progressive side, talking about making universal health care a priority and affordable tuition. Talk about health care first. You want health care for all, Bernie Sanders style?
Listen, we all agree that everyone deserves access to affordable health care and affordable, high-quality health care. That's not up for question. What we differ on is how we get there. And my job as a health policy expert is to get us there without leaving anybody behind.
So how broad do you want to make this? Do you want universal health care for all? Available to all.
Absolutely. Universal health care available to all.
What will that do to the choices people want and expect in their health care and health insurance?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to get there. And one of the things that we're seeing emerging right now is a white paper from the Center for American Progress. And they call their plan Medicare Extra. Now, this would not get rid of private insurance, but what it would do is make a public option, a choice choice for Americans, including Americans who have health insurance through their work. Okay. So it's a solution that allows us to get to universal health care, which we all want, but like I said, without leaving anybody behind.
You also talk about affordable access to education. Does that mean free tuition?
To me, it doesn't mean free tuition. We can't afford free tuition, and here's something that's important to know. Not everybody needs or wants community college or university. What we need is affordable, accessible, lifelong learning opportunities. And for some people, that's an apprenticeship. For some people, that's a mid-career change. For some people, it is a four-year research university. And we do a good job in Arizona of making that affordable for people. Is it perfect? It's not perfect, but we're doing a good job.
All right. Heather Ross, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck.
Thank you, Bram.